Christy Clark began her day on Vancouver Island campaigning in Nanaimo today. The former deputy premier and talk show host is the only leadership candidate not currently in office, and that's something that could hurt or could help her campaign. Our Mid-Island Bureau Chief Jonathan Bartlett has her story.
That's got to be an important part of our democratic process.
At Mon Petit Choux Cafe in Nanaimo, another Liberal leader hopeful pays a visit. Last week it was Kevin Falcon. This week, Christy Clark, starting her leadership campaign and addressing a friendly crowd for support.
We can re-engage the public, that we can rebuild public trust.
Christy Clark is considered by many a front-runner in the Liberal leadership race. Former Deputy Premier and Minister of Education, she left politics in 2004 and was more recently heard over the air as a talk show host on CKNW.
I spent 4.5 years out there listening to people, and I learned a whole bunch of new skills with listening, and I also got to hear the views of really common sense people from across the province. So I think it's time to bring that to Victoria.
Since throwing her hat in the ring, she has defied her own party and presumably many voters by suggesting to scrap the HST referendum and taking it back to the House for a vote.
I'm saying, look, if the HST is still massively opposed by the public by the end of February, when we get to the end of the leadership, then we should probably look reality in the eye and say the public has spoken, we will listen, we won't spend the $30 million on a referendum. For heaven's sakes, that's $30 million you could spend on heart operations and special needs teachers.
This VIU political science professor says Clark could be a polarizing force in BC, and she'll need more than just public support to be a leader.
Her electability will depend on just how she will be able to attract the members to her party. That means some of the hard edges that she's very well known for, that has to be dealt with very effectively, otherwise she could lose her support. But she has a strong organization, and she can tap into the Campbell part of the Liberal organization and do quite well there.
At the Kickstart Cafe in Duncan, more supporters and another quick speech.
One where we're focused on families, where we're focused on jobs, where we're focused on rural communities.
I think there has to be a changing of the guard, not just one person. I believe that the party organization and what I would describe as the leadership has to shift focus.
I want to listen to her ideas a little bit more. I'm not saying she wouldn't be a good premier, but I certainly would like the Liberals to get in.
I think she is a fabulous candidate, and she's going to be our next premier.
Jonathan joins us now with more. Jonathan, on A News at 6, we reported that Christy Clark's brother was named in some unsealed court documents today regarding BC Rail. Tell us about that.
That's right, Hudson. Newly released court documents show David Clark, Christy Clark's brother, was considering entering into a partnership with David Bassey and Eric Bornman, a Victoria-based lobbyist, to form a government relations communications practice. But Christy Clark told me the information is nothing new. 3 people were charged, 2 convicted, and none from her family.
Now, would she repeal the fixed election legislation? What did she say today about a snap election if she wins the leadership?
Well, after she left Duncan, she hinted to reporters in Victoria that there may be an early election if she becomes premier. As you know, the next election is not scheduled until May 2013, but Clark told reporters she thinks 2.5 years in government as an unelected premier is an awful long time, and suggested the people of BC should have a right to say they want to vote under the basic principles of democracy. Now, many political observers say it would be in the best interest for the Liberals to call a snap election, leaving the NDP, who are just beginning a search for a new leader, unprepared. That's
all right. Jonathan Bartlett reporting. Jonathan, thanks.
You're welcome.